You all can move.
Hare Krishna. Now, again, a very warm welcome to all devotees and guests on our Krishna program. Thank you very much for being with us this evening. No qualification whatsoever to be speaking in front of all you wonderful, sincere devotees of the Lord. So just for my own purification and a small service to our Sampradaya, to all of you, and we can humble attempt to speak on this topic called overcoming adversities. This is the first time we are using this hyphen embarrassed to be on this kind of an lesson, so if I sound awkward, please forgive me. Let us chant the Mangal prayers where we can take the blessings of our acharyas, who are actually the qualified personalities who can share this knowledge. So it's just their mercy, whatever we can speak, whatever we can all hear and grasp, is going to be their mercy. So let us chant the Mangal prayers, and then I can speak a little bit about this topic. So you can repeat initially after me. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Narayanam Namaskritya
Naram Chaiva Narottamam
Devam Saraswati
Vyasam
Tato Jayamudiraye Nashtaprayeshu Bhadreshu
Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttamaśloke Bhakti Naistiki
Krishnaya Vasudevaya
Devaki Nandanaya Cha Nandagopa Kumaraya Govindaya Namo Namah
Om Jnana-Timirandasya
Jnananjana-shalakaya Chakshurumilitam Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swabhavantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Shri Guru Vaishnavasya Shri Rupam Sagrajata Sagana Nathambikam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Radha Sagana Lalita Shri Vishakha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dīnabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurani Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanusute Pranamami Haripriye Vanchakalpatarubhyasya Kripa Sindhubhyeva Patitanam गुरुदेवेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैता गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। जय
Hare Krishna. So, I will try to cover this topic. This five. Try to speak on this topic with these five subheads. We try to understand the nature of adversities, type of adversities, four important qualities that are necessary to overcome adversities. Actually, there are many, but I thought of speaking of four today, this evening. What is the ultimate adversity in life, and what is the ultimate solution to that? These are some of the points we covered. As I was trying to as I was trying to think about what story should I fetch to discuss this particular topic of overcoming adversities, I was thinking very hard in my mind, and eventually Krishna somehow gave me the answer that the best story that can be picked up from the Bhagavatam to understand or this aspect of overcoming adversity is the story of Gajendra. So I thought I'll pick up a verse from that particular chapter, 8th canto, chapter 2, verse 22. And we'll try to discuss briefly the story first and then a few lessons that we can take to understand how anybody and everybody in life can overcome adversities. So let us recite this verse first. You can repeat after me. Namami Medyataya Aturam Gaja
नमामि निजातया गाजा
Kuta Karinya Prabhavanti Mochitam
भूता करिण्या प्रभवन्ति मोचितं
Grahena Vashena Vidaturavito
ग्रहेण पाशेन विधातुरवतो
Priham Chatamyami Paramparayam
प्रियं चतुर्यामि परम्पराय
Namami Medyataya Aturam Gaja
नमामि निजातया
Kuta Karinya Prabhavanti Mochitam
कुता करिण्या प्रभवन्ति मोचितं
Grahena Vashena Vidaturavito
ग्रहेण पाशेन विधातुरवतो
Priham Chatamyami Paramparayam
प्रियं चतुर्यामि परम्पराय।
The other elephants who are my friends and relatives could not rescue me from this danger. What then to speak of my rivals? They cannot do anything. It is by the will of providence that I have been attacked by this crocodile, and therefore I shall seek shelter of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is always the shelter of everyone, even of the great personalities. These are very beautiful words that Gajendra speaks when he is being caught by the crocodile. So, would all of you agree that everyone has been or is likely to go through some kind of adversity in life? Right? Is there anybody in the room who has never gone through any adversity in life? Okay, so let's try all those. We can actually put on the light also. Can you just put up the lights? it gets dark. Just other. So all of you will agree that adversities are a part of life. No one is spared of some kind of adversity or other. And in fact, the Shastras explain that adversity is the necessity which brings out our real character. That's why you know this words. Adversity reveals character. So, in one sense, it is essential for the growth of every living entity, every human being, every soul. So, let me try to first understand this beautiful story that comes in the 8th canto of the Srimad Bhagavatam about a particular king of the elephants by the name Gajendra. Now, the explanation is given that in the middle of a Trikuta mountain, which is actually in the subterranean, in the higher heavenly planetary systems, there's a beautiful description of that particular mountain, which is like 8,000 miles in width and breadth, and such a beautiful mountain. And there is a particular forest there called as Ritumat, which belongs to the Varuna Dev. And it is said that just as we as humans go to the shore of oceans to sometimes enjoy and have some fun in water, the demigods, the heavenly planetary systems, that's a favorite picnic spot for the people of the heavenly planetary systems. So in that forest there was a beautiful lake. The name of the lake is not given, but there is a beautiful description of what that lake was. It was such an exotic lake with the best of lotus flowers and daisies and lilies and beautiful fragrances. And there are the mixture of many things which is to make just the lake very fragrant. That kind of description is given. And it is given that there was a particular elephant by the name Gajendra, who was the king of the elephants in that particular forest. And one day he decided to go to that lake to have nice time there with his family. So he had many wives and he had many children. And the description is given in the Bhagavatam that while he was walking, he was literally trampling on plants and bushes because he was so aristocratic and so much, in one sense, puffed up with pride that he was not caring for anything. And the description is given that everybody, all the animals in the forest were fearing him. So he decided to go to this particular lake along with his family members, and everybody was respecting him as he was walking. And the description is given how he enters the lake and then sprays the water, very cool nectarian water, on himself, and then drinks the water and then splashes it on his family members. So sporting things were happening. And while he was enjoying all this, suddenly out of nowhere, because actually the water was being agitated by the movements of Gajendra, a crocodile came up from the lake and it just caught the leg of this elephant, Gajendra. And the elephant, Gajendra, he thought that I am the most powerful person. I am the king of the forest, so I can just shrug him off in a few minutes. So he started to struggle. And it is said that, in one sense, like Raghav Maharaj was saying in one of the lectures, that it was like an insult. Not only there was a physical pain that this elephant was enduring, there was a mental pain also. And how is it a mental pain? Because he was being insulted in front of his very own family members or people who respect him. So if you yourself evaluate, you will see that if somebody says something to you or does something in front of others, you feel even more pain. Right? You can experience that. If you say something to somebody in front of others, that person will feel very much bad as against you say something to him in person, just you and him. So similarly, it was a bigger insult for Gajendra to be humiliated in this way in front of his own family members and in front of all the animals and all the who were fearing him. And it became an embarrassment pretty soon for Gajendra that this crocodile is not leaving its grip on its legs. And it is said that it took, that kind of a struggle went on for thousands of celestial years. For them, it is a regular, for us, we call it celestial, meaning it will be many more earthly years, but for them, it's a normal kind of time. And for thousands of such years, this elephant was struggling with the jaws of this crocodile. Venezuela's Kala was giving a wonderful analogy. He said that this crocodile is like the illusionary energy of the Lord, or Maya Shakti. And the Maya Shakti simply won't let go. You may think that at some point in time, the struggle will be over. But unless something happens, it will not be over. And this is precisely what we'll see what happened actually. After struggling with the crocodile for a long time, the elephant started to feel weak because it is from the land and the crocodile is from water, so it gets a sthanabala. So eventually the crocodile kept having its own nourishment, but the elephant lost its nourishment and it became extremely weak. And at that time, it dawned upon him that it is impossible for me to try to protect myself anymore from the jaws of this crocodile. And that's where suddenly, out of the blue, he started remembering a few prayers in his consciousness. And then Prabhupada gives the purport that because this particular elephant was a very devoted king by the name Indradyumna in his previous life, and he had performed great devotional service to the Lord, but he did some kind of an offense where the great Muni Agastya once came to his place and he did not get up from his position. And that kind of angered Agastya. He said, "You are behaving like a heavy elephant sitting there, not even moving right now. So become an elephant in your next life." And it is said that it is this piety that he had accrued is helping him at this point to remember the Lord in his heart is giving him the consciousness to do the right thing in the form of when there is an adversity. It is actually said, Chanakya, Shriman Chanakya Pandit, like Prabhupada used to say, he has made a very nice thing. He says, when you are traveling, Vidya is your friend, or Vidya means knowledge, not a lady or a Vidya. When a person is traveling, his knowledge is his friend. When a person is at home, his wife is his friend. When a person is sick, the doctor or the Vidya is his friend. And when a person is about to die, his piety is his friend. So whatever good deeds he has done in this life will be the only things that will come to your help at the time of your death. That is the point that is made. So because he had done some devotional service in his past life, at the time of the greatest calamity and adversity in his life, the Lord from within reminded him of a very beautiful prayer, which he suddenly came to his consciousness that he has to pluck one lotus flower, because the whole lake was full of lotus flowers. He just plucked one lotus flower and with complete faith as an offering to the Lord that this is my surrender, my moment of surrender to you, my Lord. Whatever you want now, you do with me. He just plucked that. And Maharaj was saying that it's not that he was doubting whether the Lord will come. He was opening his eyes to see in any direction if he is coming. Not complete faith, closed eyes, my Lord, now it's up to you. And surely the Supreme Personality of Godhead came. Immediately, in the 400 form of Lord Narayana sitting on his Garuda, the Lord appeared in front of Gajendra and accepted his sincere prayers. Actually, he speaks very beautiful prayers, which shows his grounding in devotional service from previous life. And then the Lord releases the Sudarshan and cuts the jaw of the crocodile. and it releases Gajendra. And Gajendra by now has complete realization that this existence, material existence, is useless. So he prays to the Lord, and I don't want to live anymore in this body. So the Lord very mercifully immediately calls for a spiritual plane and transfers him into spiritual form and sends him to Vaikuntha. And even the crocodile who was killed by the Lord, who is Krishna, was a Gandharva by the name Hu, and he also gets liberated. So this in essence is the kind of the story of how the shelter of the Lord was the ultimate refuge for Gajendra in his time of adversity. So based on this grounding, we will try to understand the nature of adversities, type of adversities, the four qualities that are important to overcome adversities, like that. So it is said, it is given that adversities are inevitable. Right? All of us agree that they may come in different shape or form for everybody, but adversity in life is inevitable. It is given in the Srimad Bhagavad Gita, the Lord explains, Dukhalayam Prashashma. This material world, this material existence is temporary, and unfortunately it is full of dukkha. It's not, this class is not going to depress us, it's going to actually give us hope and make us more optimistic. At the end of the class, I'm sure we will all try to do that. But yes, that is the first nature of adversity, that is going to be inevitable. The second is, adversities in life come when you least expect them. So, Maharaj was saying that you don't have a choice. And here's a menu card, and you choose which of these three type of adversities should come to you. You cannot choose what adversity will come to you. You cannot choose the timing of when it will come to you. If only it was true, things would have life would have been much easier. So adversities will come when you least expect it. And the third nature of adversity is that if we handle it properly, you will come out stronger from the adversity. That is the focus of what we are going to discuss today. Because it is inevitable, whether we are, whatever we are in our life, in some shape or form, we will have to go through some kind of reversal in life, some kind of setback, some kind of difficulty. So how to come out of that stronger is going to be the discussion. So the scriptures explain that there are three types of adversities or difficulties, miseries, whatever you call them. The first type is called Adhyatmika Klesha, meaning adversities due to your body and mind. So people can suffer from any kind of disease. In fact, as per Ayurveda, you'll be surprised to know what Ayurveda says about the body. It says it is a house of diseases. Actually, unless we do something right, we'll always be having some kind of miseries to the mind, also the body. And what to speak of miseries to the mind? All of us experience that. The mind is so fickle, the mind is so restless, the mind always tends to worry, tends to magnify worries, it tends to give us a lot of negativity, it tends to pull us down, it tends to reduce our confidence, so on and so forth. So the miseries due to body and mind are the first type, miseries due to other living entities, other bhautika klesha, the other type of. So adversities can come to you through other living entities. And most of the times, I mean, like in India, we would say that you get mosquitoes or any stray dogs biting you or but it can come through any situation in our life, whether it's in office, whether it is in any situation, any circuit in our life, some kind of adversity can come through other living entities, that is Adi Bhautika Klesha. And then Adi Devika, meaning adversities that are caused due to natural calamities. Natural calamity, Adi Devika means divine in nature. We as humans have no control over it. So what are those? Like tornadoes, hurricanes, earthquakes, lightning strikes, excessive cold, excessive heat, floods. All these, as humans, with the best of our technology, all we can do is give some kind of an alarm that within 15 or half an hour, run out of this place. That's all you can do. There's no way to curb this because they're beyond human control. So these are the three type of overall adversities that come to us as given in scriptures, that you will suffer pain or miseries through either of these three type of difficulties in life, either through your own body and mind, through other entities, or through the supernatural forces or natural forces. So now we'll come to the aspect of how do we overcome adversities in life. They may be pertaining to anything, any sphere of life, whether it's your material sphere, it's your spiritual sphere, it's your social sphere, it's your the hobbies that you're pursuing, or whatever you're doing in your life. There can be some kind of adversity that can come through any of these channels. So I just coined an acronym called PETS, P-E-T-S. These are the four qualities that we'll try to understand, which are necessary to overcome adversities. So the first, the P stands for patience. So actually this first P you will find them similar, so I'll have to explain a little bit deeper. Patience actually is not the ability just to wait. Like normally people say patience means I just have to wait. It's not necessarily only the ability to wait, it is actually the ability to keep a good attitude while waiting. So it is said that whenever an adversity comes in life, one of these two happen as a natural reaction. One, either you feel angry on God, or you feel that God is angry with me. So these are the two most likely situations that happen when you face an adversity. You feel angry on God that why is happening to me, or you feel that God is angry with me. So patience means not thinking both of these. Never feel that thing, be angry on God, because most of the times it is our own karma to affect us. And neither feel that God is angry with us, because God is never angry with us. Whatever we do, the Supreme Lord, He always loves His children. He's just helping us to come closer to Him. So, in fact, it is said that when, from a material point of view, when you are experiencing some good things in life, we feel happy, and when you experience bad things, we feel unhappy, right? That is the nature. But from a scriptural point of view, you should be unhappy when good things are happening to you because you are exhausting your good karma. And when adversities are coming, you should be happy because your bad karma is being exhausted too. So that is the consciousness that scriptures try to equip us with. That don't you should be happy or distressed by material adversities or pleasure. That is the overall goal. But that's the concept that if there is an adversity, be happy, be patient, and let me go through this, so that the karma is burnt up. What better example of patience than the Pandavas? Most of us know this story of Mahabharata, where from the very young age of their life, when their mother had to take care of them by herself, they were a subject because she was the elder, and they knew that her kids will get their throne. There were so many attempts as young children to assassinate them. So from the very beginning, there are so many stories of people was fed poisonous cakes and then was thrown, and so many other attempts like the Lakshya and continuously there were like efforts to kill them or take them down. But they exhibited an unprecedented patience. Even when later they begged for some villages and just one village, 5 villages, they were denied, and then finally they were given a very dry piece of land called Kandavakasta. And by the Lord's mercy, even that became very flourishing. But even that was stolen from them by deceitful means, by the dice, the game of dice. And even though they were more than qualified to just defeat the Kauravas, they just kept their patience. and they accepted the 12 year of Vanvas. So it's not easy. It is easy to keep patience when you are not able to do something. But you are able to do something about the situation and you are keeping, not doing anything in that sense, keeping surrender of the Lord and the kind of thing is a symptom of patience. So that is one of the important qualities that is important to be, for us to exhibit if we are to overcome adversity. You have to be patient. You have to let the fire burn out the impurities. And eventually, adversities are nothing but it burns out your own impurities. It takes some time to understand that, but that is what spiritual is all about. The second quality, in order to overcome adversity, is the quality of endurance. Now we'll say, how is endurance different from patience? So patience is basically nothing but the attitude with which you wait is very positive. And endurance is not just you wait, you continue to do what you are supposed to do in the situation. That is called resilience. There is a concept of resilience even in software also, and securities or the design for capacity. There is a resilience of your. If anything goes wrong, something else will take care. So endurance means when you are in an adversity, you don't just give up on the situation. You continue to do what you are supposed to do, whatever it is in your life, with some hope. And that endurance comes only when we are deeply entrenched in the root values of our character. That's why there is a saying that when there is a storm or a wind, only those trees which have deeper roots are able to survive. Those trees which don't have deeper roots, they fall. So when adversity comes, whatever the intensity of the adversity, whether you can survive it depends on how deep rooted you are in the values that make character. That is very important. And obviously these are the values that we are talking about. Patience and uttamavyu. And so many examples about endurance. Obviously the best example is none other than His Divine Grace, Sri Prabhupada. Those of you who read, or if you are not, please read the biography of the founder Acharya of ISKCON, Sri Prabhupada. The kind of failures after failures, opposition after opposition that he had to go through before finally Krishna gave him the fruits of all his efforts in the form of an amazing group of devotees, followers, disciples who spread this movement across the world, empowered devotees. So there is a lot of endurance there. You'll have to extract from your reserves if you want to exhibit endurance in the moment of adversity. When everything is fine, we don't even we are not needed to tap into our reserves. Only when there are adversities, that's when we have to go deep into ourselves, into our consciousness, into our reserves of the values that we at least should be standing for. And of course, Srila Haridas Thakur, another great acharya from our Sampradaya, is another example that came to my mind of endurance, where he was so, in short, he was a Muslim. It was 500 years ago, because he was an incarnation of the living of Sri of Brahmaji. And he, being a Muslim, was not allowed, he used to stay in Puri, Jagannath Puri Dham. He was not allowed to go to Puri temple. So there is a place if you go to Jagannath Puri called Siddha Bakula. There's a beautiful tree which is hollow and still it is magically still surviving. All the barks are hollow. Because it was generated when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu threw a particular, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was none of the Supreme Lord. He himself came, he would himself come to see Haridas Thakur, because Haridas Thakur was not given entry in Jagannath Puri. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would bring the remnants of Lord Jagannath to Haridas Thakur every day. So one day he brought him this, Lord Jagannath brushes his teeth every morning. And then that thing is given as prasada. So he brought that dhatu and he gave it, he grew it and said there will be a tree and he can sit under this tree and chant your rounds. So he was humiliated that he was not allowed to enter into Sri Jagannath temple because he was a Muslim. And then because he was becoming so popular, everybody was opposing him. Even the Muslims, the rulers said that unless you stop chanting the names of Hindu gods, they are chanting the Hare Krishna Nama. In fact, he is the Namacharya of our Sampradaya. So he was chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra and there were threats, assassination threats to him. And if you continue to do this, they will kill you. And there is a beautiful story of how he was trying to be whipped to death by some of the strongest people that time. And every time the Lord protected him. And he was beaten like this very mercilessly, thrashed technically at 22 different places. They were taking him from one place to another to humiliate him in front of the public. And somehow by the Lord's mercy, he just endured that and just came over all this adversity. Very beautiful, because eventually he was thrown into the water with a stone around his neck and he came out with the mercy of the Lord. And everybody understood the glory that he fell at the feet of Buddha's temple. So his endurance attracted the Lord's mercy to him. And the Lord protected him through this adversity. So that is a beautiful quality that we all can expect, the quality of endurance. The third is again very similar, slightly different, called tolerance. So how is tolerance different from patience? So basically, patience means, as I said, the attitude with which you wait is positive. But tolerance is you do not, because in adversity, calamity, there is a great opportunity that you are provoked to do something. In the sense that, of course, when it's a bodily or mind calamity, obviously something should be done about it. But it shouldn't be done in a way that you are trying to, if it is done because something is a cause to it, you shouldn't be trying to get provoked by the situation. So you have to be tolerant to that, to the cause of that, whatever it is. So, Krishna also explained that in the Bhagavad Gita, a very beautiful principle. It says, Matras prashastu panteya shitushna samadukada agamo bayo nityas taps vikshasva bharata. So he says that everything in this material world is going to be fluctuating. Nothing is permanent. You have to learn to tolerate it. Similarly, adversities in life are not going to be a permanent feature. Is it not? All of you have experienced it. It's not that you are continuously under adversity. There are good days, there are bad days, it's a cycle. So, what sees us through this is being able to tolerate without being provoked. That is important. And again, a beautiful, this is a very beautiful quality. And when I was trying to think of what is a nice example of tolerance, to me again, of course there are many characters in the Bhagavatam who exhibit that. But I could think of the character of Draupadi. Because Draupadi exhibited so much tolerance throughout her life. A few years ago, almost I think 10, 12 years ago, I had to act as this character Draupadi, one of the dramas. And I had those dialogues. So when I was practicing that, I could feel the pain of that character, Draupadi, in Mahabharata. There was a dialogue that she who has never been seen by the sun or the moon, rather than her husband, so much chaste, and she is today being stripped naked in front of her elderly people like Bhishma and Dronacharya and Kripacharya. Can you imagine the humiliation for a woman to be stripped like this in front of her elders? It's everybody in the assembly. But what is the tolerance that she exhibited? There are so many instances actually of her tolerance. Even later, when her own 5 sons were killed by Ashwatthama, and when Arjuna brought Arjuna and I think Krishna, Arjuna and somebody else, Bhima, they both go and bring Ashwatthama as a captive. And he's cured in the retail only one is to kill him. And Jesus says, really? Because I understand what is the pain of a mother losing her sons. And Ashwatthama, creepy here, because she has only one son. So I don't want her to go through that same pain that I went through. So what level of forgiveness and tolerance is there? So tolerance is another virtue or quality that we have to exhibit in adversities, whatever they are, whatever form they are. We have to learn to tolerate them, accept them as the mercy of the Lord. Whatever adversity we are going through, we should have the patience that it is just renewing my karma. We should have the endurance that this will not stop, shouldn't stop me from doing what I should be doing. The right things. And the tolerance that I'm not going to just I will have to succumb to the ability, the desire to get provoked by situations. So that is the third thing. And then the final is S in PET stands for seeking shelter, which is probably the most important quality that we need to exhibit if you were to overcome any adversity in our life. Seeking shelter of whom? Seeking shelter of the Supreme Lord. Very, very important. Most of the times in adversities, we try to seek shelter of our own abilities. We feel that I have the capacity to overcome it by myself. But till the time we feel that, we won't access the higher power of the Lord who is eager to help us in situations, to come and help us. Like Gajendra, he tried for 1,000 years, he tried his own strength because probably he was proud. He felt that let me show my fellow members that I can do it myself. But it didn't work for him. And he was completely humiliated physically, mentally, socially, emotionally. That's when he at that point realized that I have no other option but to seek shelter of the Lord. And that's why in adversity, if there is something that can actually help us exhibit even the other four qualities, other three qualities of patience, endurance, tolerance, it is this sincere attempt to seek shelter of the Lord. And the Lord is Bhaktavatsal. He is eager to help his devotees. But why does he wait? Because he respects our false ego in that sense. All of us have been given this ego, and based on that, we many times feel that yes, I can take care of it myself. I don't have to seek access to anything beyond my own capacity or quality. But when that is that point, when that point is overcome, with a complete heart, we take shelter of the Lord. And when we take genuine shelter of the Lord, that is when the Lord immediately doesn't take time for the Lord, he's just waiting for that moment. And this Gajendra is just one story. There are entire scriptures, Bhagavatam predominantly is full of examples of how the Lord is eager, waiting to serve and help and protect his devotees, provided they are willing to exhibit that helplessness that is necessary to take shelter of the Lord. So these qualities predominantly are the four important qualities, if you can remember as PET aspects: patience, endurance, tolerance, and seeking shelter. These are the qualities that are key to overcome any kind of adversity, whether it is of the body and mind, or other living entities, or of other calamities. So these three things, these four things are going to help. And then I'll end with this, that whatever we are undergoing as humans, the scriptures tell us this highest truth, that the real adversity that we are in is not these adversities which come and go. The real adversity is that we have a material existence. The very fact that we have a material body means Panchamahabhut body. Because the scriptures explain that our real identity is not what we see in the mirror every day. We are actually much more eternal, blissful, and spiritual and knowledgeable than what we think we are. We are part and parcel of God. We are Krishna's a small particle of the Lord, which is extremely powerful. So we are not this body. Actually, we are being limited by this material body. There are limitations of time and space that get fit on the soul because of this material body. So the ultimate adversity that we are in is actually the fact that we are having a material body. And only when we are cognizant of this fact, or when we realize this fact, that is when our spiritual life begins. The scriptures explain this. Athato Brahma Jigyasa. When we start inquiring about what is wrong, why am I suffering even though I am not supposed to, even though I don't work for suffering, why are adversities coming in my life when I don't work for them, or I don't think I deserve them. Still they come. Because nobody will ever feel that you deserve problems. That's the nature of our policy. We always feel that, hey, why me? That's why the book, what is that book called? Why bad things happen to good people? It's a very common question. Why is it that I'm good, but why is it happening to me? So, only when we understand that we are actually in a predicament, though we feel that we are in a very good position in our life, we are actually in a very tricky position in life. And only then, with that combination of ultimate adversity, is the ultimate solution possible. And the ultimate solution is the solution of surrender. And in short, the spiritual truth is that the Lord allows us to be the proprietor, controller, enjoyer of some things in a very limited capacity by making this spiritual world available. There is a spiritual world, it's material world. This material world is a manifestation of the Lord's mercy to allow all His rebellious children to try to be their own controllers, proprietors, and enjoyers. And with that comes a free will, and with the free will comes the concept of karma. So, unless we surrender our free will to the Lord, that adversity is not going to do. And Nana was making a very beautiful point in one of the lectures. He said that surrender means very simple. Surrender means my will from now on is what is your will. I have no will for myself. I have no desires for myself. Any desire from this point on is the desire that how can I please you, my Lord. That is the surrender. That is the point of surrender. Krishna, when we surrender to the Lord with that attitude that your pleasure is my pleasure from this point on, my pleasure is not important. That is the point of surrender. When we do that, Krishna exhibits and reciprocates in his own way. And there's a nice word that comes in the Bhagavad Gita. Bhuktam Yajna Sarva Loka Maheshwaram Sudham Sarva Bhutana Kyatvam That I am the proprietor and controller of everything. And I am the best friend of Sudham Sarva Bhutana. I am the best friend of each and every living entity. Only one who knows that attains peace in this world. So, can you imagine a person, a friend, to whom you have kind of neglected, insulted, rejected for lifetimes, but still he is always there to help you? You know whenever you Yeah. That is the mercy of the Lord. We have neglected him, we have rejected him, we have insulted him, we get angry on him, we say names to him. But still, the moment we feel I need you, my Lord, He's there for us. That is the beauty. That is why He's our best friend. Nobody else can be a better friend than the Lord, one supreme Lord. So that is the ultimate solution. To make the Lord our best friend by surrendering to Him. And that is the ultimate conclusion of the Bhagavad Gita also. Sarvadharman Parityajya Mam Ekam Sharanam Vraja Aham Shram Sarvam Sapebhyo Moksheshyami Vasaja. Just surrender to me and all your sinful reactions and these adversities that come to your life. It's not that till you are in this mortal body at one point. Of course, if you genuinely surrender, maybe Krishna, the Lord will make sure that you have no more adversities. And even if they come, you will not recognize it because there is so much bliss in complete faith and love and care of the friendship of the Lord that you will not feel that it's an adversity anymore. It's just a passing, few more karmic reactions are going by. So this, in a sense, actually is the mood, the attitude, the qualities that devotees or everybody for that matter, whether it is practicing devotees for their spirituality or people in general for anything in their life, any kind of adversity, if we can exhibit the qualities of patience, endurance, tolerance, shelter, and ultimately surrender to the Lord, then we will come out of any kind of adversity, no matter how deep, no matter painful it is. We will come out of it by the mercy of the Lord with flying colors. We come out stronger, we come out better, the way the Lord wants us to be. And that is how we should look at everything and have that sincere desire that my Lord, please make situations in my life in such a way that I have those kind of adversities so that I can reach the point of surrender. And that is why the prayers of Queen Kunti are so important. Those of you know, the prayers of Queen Kunti in the very first canto of the Bhagavatam, she prays that let there be more calamities in my life so that I remember that I have to always stay surrendered to you. That is the goal of our pure devotee of the Lord. And even if we aspire for that, Srila Prabhupada has assured us that you will be considered as a pure devotee. Just aspiring to be a pure devotee and trying to do whatever little we can with all these principles makes us glorious in the eyes of the Lord Himself. And if you see, when you see this picture, something very unique I felt. Can you anybody notice or observe that? The picture is bigger somewhere, we will see. Very interesting point I felt. So I'll bring it up. I have that picture somewhere. Okay. Actually, it's not in this one. Because this also is a very small size. So I'm going to go back to the last slide. So there's something very interesting that I noticed, and I will share with you, but I wanted to see if you all can also interpret it that way. In this picture of Gajendra being helped by the Lord. Anything?
Garuda is
Huh?
yeah.
Okay. You all got it? Good. Okay. Obviously more intelligent than me, so I think you were all the time. But I felt that very inspiring. Garuda, because he has surrendered, because Gajendra has surrendered to the Lord, Garuda is paying his respects to him and offering his obeisances to him. That is the glory actually. In losing yourself, you win. That is the funny part, that is the trick in spirituality. In losing, you win.
There's a little bit more, and I got to.
Yes.
Vijayendra offered the lotus, and the Lord said to come and save him. So he called Garuda. So when he was leaving to Ajay, there Vijay said, "You don't have shoes on, Lord. Take your shoes off." He said, "I don't have time to put shoes on."
Yes. So this is a beautiful part of he shared. That he became so eager to go and serve that his doorkeeper said, "My Lord, you are going, your shoes are not on." And he said, I don't have time for shoes, I post at my devotee. It's a sweet point. So, you should contemplate, you should meditate on that and more and more take shelter from the Lord. We can all perform. Right? Yes. Yeah.
There is one small thing associated with this story.
Yes.
When Lord Vishnu comes and he first of all, kill that crocodile.
Yes.
Then the first question that everyone asks is, Prabhu, you came like to the Lord Vishnu, he questions the Lord, you came on my request or on the crocodile's request? Then the Lord says, obviously you called me, that's why I came. Then he says, then why you killed the crocodile first? Because by killing him to send him to Vaikuntha, I called you, but you gave your blessings first to the crocodile. When will my time, when will my time come? So just by saying that, he is showing that although he was in so much difficulty, but he was not bothered by the difficulty in which he was. He was still remembering the Lord.
Good point. I don't think it's there in the Bhagavatam, but there are many wonderful commentaries by acharyas that bring out such nice points. These kind of touching points which actually even teach us more. So thank you for sharing. Very nice. So any other thoughts or comments or yes?
I have one question. In the abbreviation which we saw, PETS, my question is related to P and S. So endurance is we said that we should never give up, right? And S is seeking shelter of the Lord. So when we actually seek shelter of the Lord, do we give up and wait, or we still try wait till he responds?
So yeah, very nice point. I mean, a very nice point that endurance and seeking shelter. Does it mean when we seek shelter we stop doing what we do? The answer is no. In fact, at all points in time, the consciousness should be that even if I am enduring something, and in one sense, I am trying to protect myself. For example, suppose there is a physical danger to yourself. So there is a many times people ask this question: should I just, and there is a train coming in the track, and should I just say, "Wait, my Lord, please help me," or should I do something? Jump over it. So that aspect of your activity or your endurance in that sense, that the work that you are doing should be done, but in the consciousness that ultimately only the Lord, if He wants, can help me, can protect me. So the shelter, seeking shelter aspect actually starts. It's not that it's a sequential thing that you endure first and then seek shelter. It is around simultaneously you can exhibit these qualities, and in your endurance also there should be the aspect of shelter, seeking the shelter. And my Lord, even though I am trying by my own self, I don't think unless you want me to be, doing of this, I will be doing. That is what the heart of a devotee is. That is what separates devotion, bhakti yoga from other type of yoga. Because bhakti yoga means we give all credit to the Lord, even though we do something little bit. At the end of the day, the fact is it's the Lord who is coordinating and controlling everything. He is the ultimate controller. So our consciousness should be that even though I am doing my endeavors, I am doing endurance, I am enduring, but the attitude of shelter of the Lord and surrender of the Lord should not be, stop. It should not stop. It should continue to do. Thank you.
Prabhu, I have a question. You said that in adversity, if we have some bad karma, we should be happy because they're exhausting our bad karma. And if we have something good, then also we're exhausting our good karma. So, in which happy medium? I would prefer to have something good, but I don't want to exhaust my good karma. So, how does that work?
So, you don't have the choice to not exhaust your good karma. You have the choice to create more good karma. You see what I'm saying? And ultimately, the Srimad Bhagavad Gita and the higher scriptures tell us that you are not supposed to stay in this concept of good and bad. You have to go beyond. But Bhakti Yoga has taught to us by the Supreme Lord in Bhagavad Gita actually teaches us to be transcendental. So the good and bad, actually the good is the enemy of the best. You heard that? So you may experience good things in life, but you are missing out on the best things of life, which is spiritual life, which is your eternal blissful position in the spiritual world. So that's why I said that this material world is a station, not a destination. We are just on a station, it's not on a destination. So it should be looked upon that way. It should not be looked upon as a situation where how can I keep making sure that my good is going to improve, my bad is going to go down. In many sense, in many ways, it is beyond our control. When we are born, our horoscope or the planetary positions and the world functioning of them clearly indicate when we are going to go through some really adverse situations, when we will experience very nice things in life. It's not in our control, you cannot do anything whatsoever. Our only desire should be, by Lord, eventually just relieve me of this good and bad and give you the best. Is that answer?
Yes.
I have a question. How would you define free will?
Okay. So, free will is nothing but the will that we exhibit as a soul. I mean, first I'll give the concept. Or not the concept, the spiritual truth is that all of us are related and connected to the Lord, and we have a Siddha Swarupa in our spiritual form, and we have some service to the Lord in the spiritual sky, in the spiritual world, which is 3/4 of the creation. Right? What we see, what material science sees, is only 1/4, technically. Now, when the living entity is released or given access to this is the prison object, this dark material sky, along with the ability to try to be the control property enjoyer, there is this concept of free will. By free will, it means you have nobody will challenge you. You can do whatever you want. Even the Lord will not challenge your free will. And it is best exhibited in terms of spirituality. Free will is not, I mean, what you can do is totally your choice. Right? You can tomorrow decide to do something which nobody can think of. It's totally up to you. But in the material realm, you will get a reaction to that. But normally, when we speak about free will, because apart from the karma, the free will concept is more applied to the fact that at some point in time, I want to give up this free will, this ability to try to be independent of the Lord. The proposition here is we are currently independent of the Lord in this material world. We have been given a small space for ourselves. We call it family, we call it social status, we call it money, we call it whatever. And with that, we can do anything we want. So that is the free will on the material level. On the spiritual level, the free will is, can I understand that this free will is the reason of my repeated birth and death, of my having to go through these cycles of adversities and happiness? Can I give it back? It's like a video game. I always like to give an analogy of video game power. You have those coins. So as long as you have the coins and you keep putting it in, you can play the game. The moment the coins are over, you will come out or buy more. So the tendency to buy more coins and go and play, we have to give up that tendency. That is what is free will. That is how in spirituality you have given. My Lord, I have understood that this material world is not a very happy place eventually, and I have a spiritual, eternal relationship with you, in which I am completely blissful. So why not I come back to you and enjoy that beautiful association of you as my best friend? Does that make sense? Any other thoughts, suggestions, comments? So if not, we will stop here. It's almost 8 o'clock. Should we do some? Are you all hungry to go for prasadam or is it okay for 10 minutes? 10 minutes. After that, we will be honoring prasadam. The volunteers will make sure that everything is ready and will inform you. Hare Krishna.